Not all protein powders are equal. And today I have for you the Transparent Labs grass-fed whey protein powder. You can see here, hopefully. So when I say not all protein powders are made equally, there are different kinds of whey protein. There are also different formulations involved, different testing procedures. Transparent Labs protein is probably one of the best that I've come across in terms of what they've done, and I'm gonna explain to you how and why. But most of all, it's because the number of ingredients in the protein powder, the type of protein powder they use, which means a higher protein number per serving, and then just the flavorings in general. So starting with the ingredients. Most protein powders have a relatively long list of various ingredients to flavor it. This has 5. It's literally grass-fed whey protein isolate, cocoa, natural flavor, sodium chloride, and stevia. Now, stevia initially put me off because I've had a few different stevia supplements before and the taste has been horrible. Now, I think companies have maybe changed the way they flavor things with stevia, because this one and another one that I've had before taste a lot different and a lot better than stevia stuff that I had in the past. So whatever it is, it still tastes really damn good. It actually tastes like a normal artificially flavored protein powder, to be honest. So no issues there with taste with the stevia. Now, the whey protein isolate is a nice option. Typically, when you're looking at a scale of whey protein in terms of the amount of protein you're actually getting, whey concentrate on the low end, then whey isolate, and whey isolate is pretty similar to hydrolyzed whey. Now, that's just essentially like a filtration process. Whey concentrate is typically cheaper. So when you're looking at protein powders and you find the cheaper protein powders, they're usually mainly whey concentrate. There's no problem with having whey concentrate. For example, in terms of long-term gains in muscle mass, doesn't matter. But in terms of, I guess you could say, protein per serving and the money you're spending on it, a whey isolate is typically a better option, especially if you have some dairy intolerances. Obviously, if you're lactose intolerant, then you're probably looking for a non-dairy alternative for a protein powder. But if you're maybe just have a slight intolerance to lactose and dairy, then you need to use an isolate, because there's little to no lactose compared to a whey concentrate, just because of how well it's filtered. Now, when I'm talking about protein per serving, as an example, this is approximately 33 gram scoop, and 28 grams of it is protein. And that includes, there's still flavoring everything else in here. So you're getting a very close profile of protein per serving to the actual serving size. Compared to, say, for example, Optimum Nutrition, which is considered one of the better protein powders on the market, you're getting around a 31 gram scoop, but you're only getting around 24 grams of protein in that scoop, because it's still mainly a whey concentrate with some whey isolate in there, plus all the other flavorings, etc. So if you were to get this, say, for example, unflavored, it would be 33 gram scoop with 33 grams of protein, but obviously because the flavor on top of it adds to that serving size. But what you're looking at is a very high ratio of protein to the serving size, which is was one of the main things you want to look for when you're looking at a protein powder. Same thing, gluten-free, banned substance tested as well. So all Transparent Labs supplements are banned substance tested. If you are a competitive athlete, most sports do drug test, at least, you know, natural bodybuilding, NCAA athletes, combat athletes, all those competitions, they'll typically randomly drug test. And if you're subject to random drug tests, the number one thing you need to look for is the banned substance informed sport tick. All Transparent Lab supplements have that, which is on their website. And having that means you're not going to run the risk of popping positive for contaminated supplements. Yes, it is a common excuse used by many athletes who are actually doping, but it is a real issue, and you could potentially pop if you're going for some kind of shady company selling you supplements. So bear that in mind, that the informed sport tick or the banned substance tick is crucial for you as a competitive drug tested athlete. So that's why another reason this protein is so good. They have a shit ton of flavors. So if you don't like milk chocolate or dark chocolate or whatever, which I would recommend, they have a bunch of others you can go through. Again, I can't dive into, if you've watched any of my other supplement reviews, you can't go by mixability and taste anymore, because the supplement industry is so big, every company does good mixability and good taste. All that matters is the formulation and the ingredients. Nothing else matters outside of that. So I just want to make that point. So this is what might put some of you off this Transparent Labs protein. It is $60 for 30 servings, making it $2 per serving, which is probably, from what I've seen, the most expensive protein powder available. If you go buy, for example, Optimum Nutrition, a 5-pound bag, if any of you are in the States and you go to Costco, a 5-pound bag is about $64, which is, I don't know how many servings that is, but it's a lot. It's over triple the number of servings for $60. So for $10 more, essentially, you're getting a lot more protein powder versus this. Now, Optimum Nutrition is also banned substance tested. So if you're an athlete, that's another option in terms of a budget option. But again, if you have some kind of dairy intolerances or you're looking for a higher quality protein that's just isolate, then Transparent Labs is a good option there. Again, it is a lot more expensive, but you're getting the quality with that. So let me know if I missed anything down in the comments, and stay tuned for more reviews.